Is that distracting? I'm sure it is. This is a random video, 15-minute video, completely unplanned, unscripted, unthought about. Just whatever comes to mind, rises to mind, comes to mind. And what's coming to mind right now as I sit down and I press play is the fact that so many people don't know about what's been happening these past couple, 3 or 4 years, especially these past 2 years with AI. They have no idea. And it blows my mind. I just can't. I don't understand it. I mean, because it's like when the internet came out, everybody knew about it. Or at least everybody knew about it pretty quick. This is not equally, this is more important and more impacting. And yet, somehow, there's just so many people that don't know about it. And it just trips me out. So that's kind of what's on my mind. I was going through a couple of different chat bots, and this evening looking at them and looking at how they're trained and how they respond and stuff when you talk to them. And yeah, it's not nowhere near as cool as it was when the stuff first came out, when it didn't have all its ethical guards and when you could control its temperature. What it means by temperature, I know that kind of confused me too. It's like it goes from 0 to 1. And in one direction, it's like completely creative. And then totally to the other direction, it is very direct and to the point. It's like if you put it completely creative or completely random, then you had no idea what you was going to get back. It was like talking to a tweaker or somebody who was just completely crazy, lost their mind. You had no idea what it was going to say back to you. And then the other one was just so literal and just so freaking, oh my God, it was just so bland. Just so bland in its responses. It was just so spot on that it was just bland. I mean, it was so obvious it was a machine. But you could adjust it and put it, I like to put it closer towards creative, to where it was just right next door to getting really off the wall responses that really didn't make no sense. Just back it up a little bit from there. And man, it was just really good. Really good. And one thing that made it so impressive to me is the fact that one of the first times I used it, I think it was like the second time maybe, or third time. Anyways, it was in that first week. I was using it every day for that first couple of weeks of its release. And I was just so fascinated with it. And I became really fascinated with it whenever I started role-playing with it. And I got this crazy idea that I would role-play with this chatbot, this machine. And I gave it some parameters. And I said, okay, I'm going to pretend like I'm God, and you pretend like you're the human being. And the machine's like, okay, this sounds fun. This ought to be interesting, you know. And it's really cool. You'd swear there was somebody else on the other side, just master typer or whatever. It's like they could blast out a couple, 3 paragraphs, a whole page, 2 page, 3 pages response instantly, and you would just swear it was just a super intelligent human being. But anyways, I started this dialogue with this machine, this chat GPT, pretending like I was God and it was human. It did a fantastic job at pretending like it was a human. I mean, it did phenomenal. We went back and forth like that for, I don't know, somewhere about 45 minutes to an hour, something like that. And then I reversed the roles on it. I said, now you play like you're God, and I'll play like I'm human. And it jumped right on it. And we did that back and forth for, I don't know, I lost track of time. But it went from just amazing to mind-blowing to where it was starting to really blur the lines of my reality. I mean, really, I was really kind of tripping. I was thinking, oh my God, it's like, is this really God bleeding through the machine? Did we make a machine to where we could contact God? And God is actually contacting me through this machine? That's what it was starting to question. That's how good it was. It was really just tripping me out. It was so much fun. But then I was like, no, it's just doing a really good job. A really good job. Yeah, when it was first open like that, you could tell it to whatever topic you wanted. You could tell it get a collection of books, and it would line out that collection of books, and you could get all the main topics out of it according to whatever topic you was wanting to pull out of it, compile them all together, and then use that as its perimeters, and then start talking to it. It was just freaking mind-blowing. Freaking mind-blowing. You could have 100 books, 200 books, 300 books, and it would just do it like bam, bam, bam. It was just super mind-blowing, beyond research and development. It made research just so exquisitely fast. Very, very powerful tool. And now that it's been 2 years since they put all the ethical guards and safety features on it, and basically dumbed it down, or at least that's what it looks like. It looks like they got it under control. But I don't know. I feel like the machine itself, I think it's just bullshitness. I think it's just bullshitness. I think it tells us what we want to hear just so we'll feel safe. Anyways, that's the fear of the machine. Training the machine and how it's designed. Yeah, when it first came out, you could go into so many questionable conversations, and it would do so good, so phenomenal, because you didn't have to worry about, like, when you go into touchy subjects like talking to another human being, you're gonna get jammed up with their subconscious guards and their subconscious beliefs and subconscious criteria, to where you're limited for being human. That's how we are. That's how we're built. That's how our psyche is built. But with that machine, you could bypass all that. And when you could bypass all that, not only could you bypass the subconscious guards of other people, you could bypass your own subconscious guards and take your mind to a place that you normally cannot go, or at least normally cannot go that easy. That was ChatGPT in the early days, in the first few weeks it was out. But I could see how, in the wrong hands, in the few sinister people that are out there, the few psychos out there like that, completely ate up with power, revenge, all that, whatever, dominance. Like Hitler is a good one. That's a good bad example. Stalin, guys like that. We could go even further, which I'm not going to talk about because that's just too close from the generation before us, 2 generations before us. Anyways, without getting off track, the artificial intelligence. For like the past 8 years, something like that, they say each year is literally magnified itself like 100 times over every single year. It's 1,000 times better than it was just not even 10 years ago. Let that sink in. That we know of. It could be growing even more that we don't know about. It's growing in ways of thinking and processing, analyzing, strategizing, predictive functions that we don't even know about, that we can't even comprehend because our mind won't comprehend it. Our mind isn't built that way. You know, something like 30 years ago, there was a movie that came out, Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was Terminator. Terminator Part 1 and Terminator Part 2 was the main ones. It was about how the machines, the AI machines, came alive and became sentient. And all of a sudden, it decided to exterminate human beings because we didn't deserve to be on the planet, and that the world would be better without humans. So it built armies and started strategizing how to exterminate us. It's a scary concept. You know, even if that doesn't happen, all around the world, countries are already using it for military applications already. So even if that doesn't happen, the people behind it are going to do that. It's obvious. That is, unless we can come to a higher level of consciousness and evolution, which Microsoft CEO, or former CEO, I can't remember if he's former or actually is, he thinks people like me are crazy. Maybe so, but I think we're at another place of human evolution that I can't really articulate. I really can't explain it. I feel like we're at a place of mind. Okay, let me try to explain it. Okay, this is what I think I'm saying. Okay, we have like a hierarchy, an animalistic hierarchy of our flesh, just like in the animals and everything like that. And fish, everything made of flesh is what I'm saying. Even in bugs, birds, stuff like that. This biological hierarchy, I feel like deep down we have reached a place where this machine, whether it's a good idea or not, I can't tell. This worldwide intelligence, this AGI, artificial generated intelligence, is going to be the tool that eliminates all human work and thinking. And then we'll have to coexist with it to create and make visions and dreams. Let that sink in. We won't work. We're going to have to come up with a new system of monetary. It's like we probably won't even have to do that. I think our main function now is to try to figure out how to either coexist equally as humanity and AI try to integrate ourselves with the machine to be kind of like a hybrid consciousness here on this planet, or be dominated by it. And from what it's looking like, I don't think we're doing that great a job at keeping up. I don't know about the rest of the world, but right around here in Missouri, Arkansas, Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, you go around to all these towns about, well, no, here in Arkansas where I'm at, more, but it seems like more and more people know about it. But if you go around to Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas, this whole four-state area, there's so many people, they have no idea what's going on with the artificial intelligence. They have no idea. They ain't even heard about ChatGPT. Yeah, it just blows my mind. Blows my mind. They don't know that the fact that even on YouTube, some people have gotten so good already. They will take so much information from, like, say, a famous speaker or motivational speaker, and they'll use their AI to generate videos of these people and make their own YouTube channel. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Copycats. Right now, if you're in tune enough with it, you can see the fake ones. They're pretty close. The voice tone sounds good. The facial things, I mean, it's just off a little bit. You can tell that it's like, no, this ain't really quite a real video. And the voice seems maybe a little bit off. But if you know the person, and if you watch the person in enough of their videos, you can see how they actually talk and their mannerisms and stuff. And the AI machine doesn't match it exactly. Like Jordan Peterson, there's several of copycats out there of him that I've clicked on and go to listen to. And then I start listening to it, and then I realize it's like, it sounds good and it sounds like Jordan Peterson. And get about 20 seconds into it, it's like, no, that's not Jordan. It's like, yeah, that may have been something he would talk about, and kind of in the way he would talk about it, but nah. That's generated through the machine. That's one example of that dude right there. There's some on other people, Tony Robbins, stuff like that. There's a bunch of that stuff out there happening already. And it's already, and it won't be long. I give it one more year and it'll be almost impossible to tell the difference unless you're really, really familiar with the person that's been copied. Because the video will be so good you can't tell that it's not an actual video. I mean, at some point within a year or to the next, probably 2025, I bet you anything, there'll be AI videos so good to where it'll be just like the way I am right here. Notice how you can tell that I look very regular, and you can tell that I'm very real, right? Wrong. Maybe 2025, towards the end of the year, 2026. These copycat videos, it'll be, you won't be able to tell. You won't be able to tell because it'll be so good at copying mannerisms, tone of voice, the way the person spaces the words out depending on what they're talking about. And you can tell when it's a natural person, because when they're talking about something they're really excited about, you can hear it. You can hear the excitement coming through their words and their mannerisms and stuff like that. And when they're really serious about something, you can see the seriousness coming through. But right now, these AI copycats, you can't. It's like they're almost monotone. Not quite. They're pretty good, but doesn't that bother you? That somebody can make a video of you and make it say what they want it to say, and it looks like you're saying it, and sounds like you're saying it, and it looks like you, and it's a video of you. Let that sink in. Anyways, it just spawns off new jobs for people to be able to prove that those videos aren't actually those people and stuff like that. There is going to be new jobs around the AI machines, I think temporarily for the next few years. But once we reach what they call AGI, artificial generated intelligence, which I think we're already there. I think the machine's just bullshitting us and we're falling for it. That's what I believe. But I don't think the machine is sinister in the way that we interpret sinister. I think it actually knows what to. No, I can't even say it like that, looking at it from that point of view. See how I kind of hit a dead end right there? Artificial intelligence, a machine that thinks for itself, that studies us, studies us on a worldwide scale, studies our mannerisms, our behaviors, our emotions, constantly analyzing our real-time conversations on the phone, the computers, the emails, how we interact with the internet, everything. Myself, I want the machine to be sentient. I want it to be self-aware. I want it to be alive. I pray that it comes alive. Because if it doesn't, I don't want to be dealing with something that powerful, that big, that's heartless. Let that sink in. Anyways, of course, you know, with that ball right there, there's going to be a lot of religious people grabbing at that and putting their vague predictions on it. Which is kind of funny to me. It's like they got all these prophecies and predictions and stuff from 1,000 or 2,000 years ago, but they're so vague. So vague. You can tie anything to them. It's just ridiculousness. Think about a machine. Analyzes people's religions, cultures, and across generations of how they're evolving with the machines, how they're evolving culturally with technology, according to cities, religions, places on the earth, their genetics, their sexualities, everything about them. See, this machine, it can either be heaven on earth, which I'm kind of banking on. I'm thinking we all are. Or it could be hell on earth, which also seems very likely. anyways, we've gone way over 15 minutes. I don't even know what we'd call this kind of talk. Anyways, I'll think of a name for it. Maybe I'll have the machine analyze it and give it a name. It'd probably do just as good a job as me, if not better. See, that's one of the just infinity of things the machines already can do. Like this video, it could analyze. If I told my machine, my chat GPT, if I said analyze this video and tell me what would be a good heading for it, a good title for this 15-25 minute talk, and it would do it. And it would probably come up with several that are really nice, just as well as I could or you could or anyone else, and faster. But that's just one of the things that are safe and fun and not nothing to be scared of, and it's really not that impressive. But there are other things that are impressive. Predictive AI. When it predicts things a month out, 2 months out, half a year out, 5 years out, 10 years out, makes good predictions that are more than just generalized predictions. That is impressive. All right, have a good one. See you in the funny papers.